Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Dr. Sheila Harris, and I am the author of A Conversation with the Sages. I am so glad you're here today. I'm sure you want to know what this channel is all about, and I am so passionate to share my vision and mission for you and this channel, of course. This channel is born out of desperation to find solution about life. You see, I grew up in an environment that was riddled with dysfunctional behavior. And the environment was so bad that my grandmother told me at the age of 10 that I will not go beyond my primary school education. And of course, if you think about it, telling a child that at that time would have been okay, that's fine, because in truth, my grandmother was very important to me as I was growing up and was a role model for me as well. But hey, I had something inside me that defied the definition of what my grandmother gave me as I was growing up. I wanted to be much bigger than my environment, but unfortunately, or maybe in hindsight, I can say fortunately, I had very little model around me that I can emulate to get to the destination I wanted to be. Long story short, regardless of where you find yourself, I want to bring to your attention that every one of us, regardless of where we start, we can make it to the highest accolade in life if only we are patient, we are dedicated, we are forthright, we are persevering, and we are anchored in what I now know is the solution to everybody's problem: God, the creator, nature, whatever you want to call it. You see, when my grandmother gave me her vision for my life, I could have just accepted a vision and quit education at the level she quitted and believed that was all she was capable of. But I remembered there was one person in my life that mentioned university, even though no one in my environment had gone to university. And I learned that this place was a higher education where you can go and then thereafter you could get a job. And then as part of getting a job, you will be able to be economically wealthy. Well, that sparked my motivation. And from that point onward, I began to aspire to get to university, even though, like I said, there was no model in my environment. But there is a power that always brings the right people in your life when you are ready for a change. And that happened for me. Eventually, I had people in my life that helped me, and eventually I made it to university. It was with a lot of challenges on the way. And this is why this book is so important to me, because the challenges that I had to deal with were all around relationships. They were all around how do you work well with others? How do you set boundaries that will make sure people don't abuse you? Because I went through a lot of abuse as a child, but I didn't know how to deal with that. Some of these abuses that I went through left me with a lot of emotional scar. And I have to say, sometimes physical scars as well. In desperation for solution, I ended up finding myself from one self-help development courses to the other. I did a lot of courses as I was progressing in my education academically. I knew there was something missing in my life. Personal development, affirmation, meditation, you name it, I've done it all. Religion, I've done it all. But my life was so empty. None of these things can fill me. So eventually, I found myself an education which was based on sage's wisdom. This was the only thing that made sense to me in the end. I began to understand what the sages have learned a long time ago, that are put in sacred books in different ways, and that's the education that saved my life. Saved my life in the sense that it made me recognize why I'd gone through those challenges, what I'm supposed to do with the challenges, why I think the way I think, why I behave the way I behave, why I reacted the way I reacted, what I need to do in the inside to change my experience with the world that I lived in. So in this channel, you are going to find materials, you're going to find short clips, video clips, which talks about different aspects of life, which you should really know. And as you listen to this wisdom that I will share in various small bite-sized nuggets, I want to take this opportunity to invite you to the free resources that I have for you as well, which will make a difference, regardless of where you were born. No matter whether you were born in an environment that was enriching or one that was depriving, you can change your life. Every one of us have it within us to become the best version of ourselves. Every one of us, if I tell you this, that I came from an environment which was a mixed bag of poverty and wealth and in between. But what I learned that each of these environments were deprived of the education that is so vital, which is the education of connection, love, unity. And as a result, suffering and pain predicated the environment, and unhappiness predicated the environment. When I learned to say this wisdom, I recognized that a person can become happy when they know how to make others happy. I understand that it is not possible for us to love other people without us first understanding what love is, and then recognize that we have to be love within before we can give love to others. So I applaud you for joining this channel. Welcome, and I hope you find it very beneficial in your own journey. Thank you.